Today, ladies and gentlemen, the 742 subscribers that I started this journey with almost 8 months ago took me down a crazy rabbit hole. But most of you are here for dividends, that passive income, which we're going to break down for you. But let's go down the rabbit hole of me learning how to save tens of thousands of dollars in taxes. And it all started when I took $15,000 worth of gold, liquidated it into cash, put it in the bank, baby. But now I look like kind of an idiot because let's be real, gold is well on a rise here, guys. But I don't know. Am I an idiot? I'm not too sure. Still trying to figure all of this stuff out. But at the end of the day, I still have a $113,000 dividend portfolio between my two accounts. So let's jump right into this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, but before we break down all the news going on in the portfolio, I want to show you this rabbit hole that I went down recently because I'm in the midst of insanity season right now because I'm so busy with my actual job. The problem is I'm trying to find time to work on a bunch of different things. And one of them in the last 3 months of this year, I have to figure out what I'm going to be doing with this managed account because I owe taxes. I've been running the math on it. At the end of the year, I'm going to owe somewhere between $6,000 and $10,000, but I've been trying to find a way to defer this income, whether by real estate, online businesses. I've talked about a lot of different things. I even opened up a new account to start being able to build my credit, and I've been putting a little bit of money here, buying stocks on your recommendations. And I also started a show because I'm a full-time magician, guys, and I just wanted to light a fire under my ass and actually make a proper script, do a proper show, whether it sells out or not. I'm still filling them seats, which I will promise to break down for you guys because I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this show. I'm super looking forward to it. But at the end of the day, I still am gonna owe up the amount of taxes that I'm gonna owe even with these write-offs, guys. So I mean, that's just the joys of living in Canada. We end up paying around like 20 to 30% tax depending on how much your income is. Mine right now, I've been deferring nicely, but I'm going to owe on about $21,000, and by the end of the year that might be quite a little bit higher. But reading into some crazy fascinating news that I've learned, I didn't realize, because what I was doing, as I told you, I was deferring some of my income into my RSP to one day buy a house, but I realized I don't need to buy a house. I forgot and have not noticed really at all that apparently REITs are RRSP eligible. This has blown my mind, and they've raised the limit, not just 25,000, but 31 or 32,000, I do believe. And I'm going to call my account tomorrow to talk about this because I mean, so say I come up with the full 30,000, I put it all into the RSP for all of my income. I'll save $6,000 to $10,000 on taxes. I can take that money back out, draw against it on the first home time buyer, whatever the heck the program is, buy REITs, especially REITs that do really well. And even over that time, I could take a 3% of that REIT if these REITs pay 5, 8 to 10%. And I could funnel, because over 15 years you have to pay it back, and I could funnel some of that money back into there. But either way, you could run the numbers on this and do a bunch of different stuff, but just the money I'll save in taxes and the fact that I can still collect paychecks off dividends while being able to touch my RSP money in the beginning is pretty wild, because we can buy some growth REITs like Realty Income, there's Wynn Resorts, RioCan is one that I like a lot, and they all seem to be down right now, not that I'm obviously going to be buying right now. TNT is another REIT that I've talked about that pays a really healthy 9% yield. So say you could even take 4% of that yield and pay it back to your RSP and then collect on the 5% and spend it as I please, or even use it to buy other stocks. Like, I mean, there's so many options that I did not realize exist. So let's just jump into the accounts right now to show you guys exactly what's going on, because I haven't done that in a little while. I've been busy this week, but we're talking about my tax-free savings account, my golden goose here that I love the most, which I will be contributing to at the beginning of this year, which is what I might do is keep a little bit of money on the side so I can fully contribute to my TFSA at the beginning of the year. Either way, just taking a look here, guys, at my main holdings as usual. We went into the weekend doing pretty well overall to be capping out right around that $113,000 mark. And the ones that are pretty much doing the best are CM, and the banks have come back quite substantially in a short amount of time. We have my Northland Power. It's come down a little bit. I'm curious as to why we're seeing such a pullback in the utilities and REITs right now. But either way, Southern Company is not pulling back, but we're also going to U.S. holdings. We got GEO Group, one of my worst performers. I was just talking to one of you subscribers about yesterday through messaging, and somebody that actually went to jail when he was 19, and now he was thinking about buying into one of these stocks. And I think right now is a beautiful time to buy into GEO Group if you are morally sound into the principle of rehabilitation prisons. I could say that a few different ways that wouldn't sound as nicely, but I enjoy this read. I like rehabilitating people. I don't think these prisons are going anywhere. I don't think Elizabeth Warren, the lady that's been battering this into the ground, is going to get anywhere with this, because she's competing with Bernie Sanders and the Yang Gang that are doing a lot more with healthcare and basically universal basic income, and their whole focus is getting people out of prisons and keeping them out of prisons rather than trying to convolute the prison system. But I think GEO is, the infrastructure is massive, got global exposure. I think it's been beaten up. I bought it way too high and I thought I was getting a discount, but turns out it's bigger discount today, which is why I set up a drip. I'm going to let all my dividends just get reinvested into this for the time being. And obviously Apple, Microsoft, guys, they're still just tankers. I'm glad I have these. Microsoft is starting to push all-time highs again. Really exciting stuff because the positions are so, well, they make up some of my largest positions in this account, which is absolutely wonderful. But then looking into the actual managed account, because like I said, about $20,000 of this is what I have to manage with taxes, which is going to be very frustrating. And to avoid paying any real taxes, I might as well take all of these positions. Unfortunately, it's going to be a heartache of a moment here of trying to manage this because I really just enjoyed setting this up. But I mean, at the same time, like if I sell, I'm going to be patient with this. It's not like I'm just selling these all right now. But what I could do as an option is sell off a good chunk of these, put 20,000 straight into my RRSP, and then basically just draw back against it and buy REITs, and then use the money I make off the REITs to buy other stocks. It seems like just I couldn't get over the idea of that because with an RSP, you're not going to have the limits to draw against it. But just looking at the positions, guys, I would still try and hold on to some of these to some extent. Like I said, I'm just trying to figure out what the best management options are because as my tool set in my brain expands, I'm starting to look at other ideas. I still think buying an online business would be the best route to create a much larger sum of income, but I have a 3-month span by the time I'm going to be able to sit down and learn how to do that. And I want to also try and build my own sites as well. It's the main thing on my playlist right now is websites, but in the meantime, if I can take all of this money, defer it in a way where I won't have to pay any tax whatsoever, and then still use that money to make a really healthy 4 or 5% dividend yield that I can spend monthly because REITs pay monthly, that would be an absolutely wonderful thing. I would end up taking some losses if some of these stocks don't come back. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with these stocks. I'm going to have to keep some of the shares. I really want to keep Tesla. It is just something that I'm not willing to get rid of. Now with these guys here, guys, MO and BTI, my favorite companies of all right now. I'm just going to hold on to these for a while, see what happens with them into the rest of the year, but I am going to end up, like I said, having to leverage them down. But what I might do is keep about 6,000 in this account, pay the taxes on the 6,000 because at the beginning of the year, I'm going to basically want to max out my TFSA because all the money I make in there is completely tax-free and you can contribute at the beginning of every year, which is exactly what I do because if I go into my tax-free savings account, scroll to the bottom, last year's limit was 6,000 and the second we hit January 1st, I invested that money and kind of diversified it out. I'm going to do the same thing this year and I'd rather just pay the tax on it and get it in here because like I said, guys, this account's done really, really well. I know you see a lot of red in here, but you got to remember, I've had about, what's the max limit on this? I think is $60,000, and you can see I've made about $20,000 or $30,000 in this account overall. So I mean, I'm making a huge dividend yield off this that's tax-free. I can draw against whenever I want. And like I said, guys, I'm going to work on an online course as well to teach you the full things that I've learned about these accounts in like one place where you can learn everything about my strategies. I'm going to just leave that on the side for now. I don't want to get too into it because there's a lot of things that I will be doing with that. But yeah, guys, so I've already got 4,000 that I've added to my RRSP, which is really, really nice. So essentially what I can do, like I said, is just take a good healthy chunk of all this managed money and I put it in VFV just to keep some stability to it, which was smart. I like the fact that I did this because if I do decide to draw against this, which is what I'm hoping, I can just pull that money out again and put it into the REITs. And I got to figure out the exact way it works and what is eligible. I'm pretty sure most REITs on the New York Stock Exchange and the Toronto Stock Exchange are eligible, like I said, so you can look into like Realty Income. But right now, this one seems to be quite a high flyer. I wish I was buying it back here, but I'm just learning here, guys, just learning. I hope you're learning something with me. And just to show you guys, because I know you like looking at the dividends, I love the way basically Scotiabank kind of lays the dividends out here because the Royal Bank, I don't think does a really good job of this. I don't like their online setup too much, but I'm using the other account because I'm using it as a credit account. I have like all my line of credit there and I'm just going to slowly build that account as a separate deal. And when I start doing some other businesses, it would be nice to be able to funnel something into another account that I can just manage as a whole side account that's just for one thing instead of me managing it all through my one account right now, which gets kind of confusing. But in here, guys, like I said, the most beautiful thing about all of this is this account has massive gains built into it. I mean, the markets would have to drop massively for me to basically be losing money at this point, but I don't care about the end dollar amount. Ideally, though, speaking about how much I don't like the dollar amount, I'm trying to get this account up to 100 grand over the next year and a half or so because I'll be able to have contributions to it at the beginning of next year. And then on top of that, I'm hoping these dividends really keep driving the price up because I should have about 10,000 to 15,000 in here probably by the end of next year if we don't see any real capital gain loss on just the stock share value itself. But like I said, I love looking at this, guys, because it's just an incredible thing to see this income. I mean, $2,012, I'm reinvesting it right now on the drips, but at the same time, guys, just imagine, like, I can't get over when I started doing this like 5 years ago, just looking at this today, because I remember when I made that first $300 in dividends. And remember, this is just the one account, guys, but this is my most humbling account, because this is the account that basically is changing my life, because this is generally passive income while I sleep. And as the great Warren Buffett says, if you can't find a way to make money while you sleep, you're going to work until you die. And I think this is a great place to start for anybody, because if you're living in a place where real estate's expensive, or just it's hard starting businesses, or whatever your issue is, if you can just start funneling some small amounts of money into here, guys, I swear it changes your life. I mean, like, when the first time I made my $300 a year, you know what I thought to myself? And this was so long ago. I was like, today is the day I officially get to say I make enough money that I could buy a coffee every single day for the rest of my life, and I wouldn't have to work for it. And that moment was a moment that really changed me, because that's when I really started understanding the reality of this. Now today I'm making over $5,000 in income 5 years later. So I mean, we're increasing like $1,000 a year, and I'm hoping that's going to basically snowball. But at the same time, guys, like, look at this one account. This is all tax-free money. So I make somewhere around $4,000 in this account converted to Canadian, because the bottom here is transferred into US. But at the same time, let's just say I'm making about what, 1,600 US and then 2,000 Canadian. So combined, if I wanted to go down to the States, I could take 1,600 US a year, travel for a month or something, or whatever, right? Like, you could imagine what you could do with this money, guys. I mean, it pays for bills. I could use it, which is the end game, right? Is we want to use it to hopefully cover our expenses. So we're talking like phone bill, car insurance, gas. Like, this really helps change people's lives. And I'm hoping you guys are learning something. So this was just a really fun, interesting video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't know if you want to, before I say bye here, I don't know if I can show you the other accounts real quick if you guys want to see some of the other dividend income, because I know you like looking at it. I have to fully calculate it, which I'll probably do on Monday for you guys, just to give you a full understanding. Like I said, this account has been driving me nuts. I hate over managing, but like I said, as the tool set of my mind builds, I kind of change my opinions on how I'm managing this. And like I said, there's nowhere to go to learn this. So I'm kind of just learning as I go and trying to learn from you guys, and hopefully you guys are learning from me. But again, guys, don't want to get any further into this. I'm losing my voice. Stay cool. Stay awesome. I look forward to chatting to you real soon.